Russell.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello from Wessex.
Lovely
to see you.
Thanks for talking to us today.
Pleasure. No, it's always a pleasure to talk to you two. Anyway.
Oh, thank you, Russell. You've grown a beard, Russell. We didn't recognise you.
I know it's a disguise. I just thought while the lockdown was going on, and then what happened was I was lazy for about a week, and then I suddenly realised I had a bit of a beard, so I thought, I'm going to grow it, and then I quite liked it, and I just haven't got rid of it yet. I've just kept trimming it because I'm not playing live or not going anywhere, not doing anything. So yeah,
quite liberating. I bet it's quite liberating, isn't it, not to have to keep.
Yeah. I can't get a haircut. I can't. There's a lot of things I can't do, but yeah, it's all right. It's not too bad. It's good, really.
How have you been finding life in lockdown? Have you been keeping busy?
Yeah, I have. I'm always busy. I can be busy in a phone box, really. I've been busy. I've been busy from day one, from March, whenever it was. It's been a few days that I've had. Well, I thought, oh no, what's happening? Like everybody thinking, what's happening with the festivals and shows and work and finance and all that stuff. The same as what everybody else, most people have been about, really. But I am pretty good. I like to keep myself busy. I like doing a load of things DIY. That sounds like I just mend plug sockets when you say DIY. But I've got a boat, so I'm always doing stuff on my boat.
Also, we've been enjoying your live performances, Russell. They've been really well received, haven't they?
Well, thank you. Yeah, that just happened one day. I sort of fell out of love with my guitar in the house, and I was walking past them and I looked at them and thought, oh, I just can't be bothered, and I just thought, how long is this going to last? And then I picked up the guitar and I just did one video, recorded it and thought, oh, I'm just going to post it. I didn't even look at it, and that's what I did. So I've had this, I'm a bit like that. If I don't look at any work that I've done in the past, I don't go over it. I do it and then move on, So I recording them and sending them out into the ether and then just getting on with it like that, really.
And your son Bobby's performed with you as well, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah, really chuffed. Because Bobby's at college anyway, or was until the lockdown. And then I said to him, join me on a couple of songs. This was a few months ago. And he went, yeah, I will. Because he's just grown up and he's only ever known me do that. And he's only ever known, and when he was a baby, me and Rick to go and pick him up from school, and so it's all sort of normal to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is he in his own? Is he in a band at all, Russell?
No. Not. He was at college. I put them in bands there.
Yeah.
So enjoying that. And I went to see him a few times, which was good. But other than that, the college is all shut down at the moment, so he's just playing at home.
Yeah, that's the way it is at the moment, isn't it? Everything's sort of shut down.
Yeah.
We just wanted to remind everyone, Russell, about your amazing career with From the Jam since you joined forces with Bruce in 2007, and it's gone from strength to strength, the band, with your albums Back in the Room and Smash the Clock really being well received, and recently your live album as well. And that's in no small part due to your sort of well-alike vocals and performance, and you're keeping that energy from the early Jam alive for fans, which they really appreciate.
And the Jam fans have really taken you to their heart, and you were a Jam fan going back in the day. You were at the Beat Surrender tour, weren't you, all that time ago in '82? What happened for you to be able to play the songs you loved all those years ago?
I've been asked that a lot of times. I mean, it's a long. The longer it goes on, the less unusual it is, if that makes any sense. So in those days, it was pretty. I thought about it too much. I didn't want to go on stage almost. I was in the wings, sort of terrified. And the great thing is, this is the honest description, because Rick and Bruce were, I was in the band with Rick and Bruce, and. So when we would go on stage at some of these great big venues like the Hammersmith Apollo and things like that, I knew that I had about 10 minutes before the crowd started to take notice of me. because they were just interested in Rick and Bruce at the start with, and which is how it should be. So then I thought, well, I've got 10 minutes to be able to get my feet under the table, to be able to feel good, because I could see by their eyes, you know. And then after about 10 minutes, the crowd would almost go, okay, right, well, who's this fella up the front here? And they took to me, we were on tour back in 2008 in Australia, and a guy said to me, you wear Paul's shoes like a pair of comfortable bowling shoes. He said to me, I suppose I took that as a comfortable pair of slippers, and I took it in the way that it was meant, I'm guessing, you know. So I've always gone out to be me as well, which is lovely, because I wouldn't like to go out and be Paul, because Paul's Paul and I.
No, that's it.
How did you do in the band, Russell? How did you get involved with Bruce?
I was involved with Rick first, and me and Rick were in a band called The Gift back in the early 2000s, and then we played Guildford Uni in 2006, and the night before we were in Dublin, and Rick got a phone call, and it was Bruce. And he said, look, I hear you're on the same bill as us tomorrow night, because on the bill was Mark Brzezicki, Bruce Watson, Bruce Foxton, Simon Townsend, and they were in a band called the Casbah.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So then Bruce said, why don't I jump up on stage and join you, Rick, with Russell? And so he did. He jumped up on stage, and the place went nuts. And about a week later, an American tour was put together, and a UK tour, and then it went, and that started in the 2000. It started on May the 3rd, 2007. And
fantastic.
I'm very lucky that the fans have warmed to me and taken me to their hearts, which is, you know, very gracious.
You've got that voice also that's so soulful. It's got that London soul mod sound, and I think, I mean, to me as well, Steve Marriott. When I listen to you, I can hear Steve Marriott as well in there. You know.
That's a nice thing to say, because I was an admirer of Steve Marriott. I'll let you into a little secret. About nearly 40 years ago, I was with Paul actually in a hotel, and Paul said to me, "Here, who do you think this is?" and showed me a photograph. And I went, "That's you." He went, "No, it's Steve Marriott." I went, "Oh, really?" He went, "Where do you think I get it from?" I went, "Oh." And he showed me this photograph, and you would swear it was Paul. The Ready Steady Go show, 1967 taken, and Paul said, "I've just copied everything he's ever done."
What a performer he was, though. An amazing performer.
A great voice, Steve.
Yeah.
A brilliant voice. And I was lucky enough to play with Kenny a few years ago. And Kenny was always, really interested in asking him about Steve, you know, what it was all about. And apparently, Steve's wife used to dress him. You know, used to give him his dress set. He stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's got good taste then.
Yeah.
And going over the years, Russell, with the different albums, because you've been doing the album anniversary tour, for you, is there a standout Jam album that is your favourite, that you can say that you love the best?
Not really, no. I think that they sort of all blend into good for me, fortunately. Otherwise, it would be a bit of a chore. So, I mean, there are some that that conjure up more memories than others. Sound Effects for me, Setting Suns and All Mod Cons are the ones that hold some great memories for me. But then so does Modern World, and so does The Gift. So they're really got, they're like children, I guess.
You can't have a favourite.
Love for each and every one of them.
Oh, definitely. Thanks for agreeing to take part in the Simply the Best challenge. It's just a few sort of quick questions on some of the things you love best in the world.
All right, fire away.
Are you ready, Russell?
Ready.
Right, so your favourite song of the 80s that's not a Jam song?
Golden Brown, Stranglers.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah.
Okay, and what's the best thing about growing up in the retro years for you? When you look back to your childhood, what do you miss the most or reminisce about the most?
I love the girls. Yeah, I was Yeah, that's a funny thing. But you know, when I was a teenage boy, you know, and all that world became, you know, available. And I was in bands from a very early age, and I just loved everything that was all about, really.
Yeah.
That brings, yeah.
Yeah,
It was an honest answer.
yeah, that's it. Now, no, all the kids nowadays have got computer games and everything, but back then we had good old-fashioned toys to keep us amused. What was your favourite toy, Russell, growing up?
I had a great. I had something called Super Flight Deck. You used to be able to fire this. It should be a long bit of cable that went up the hallway, and it was attached to a curtain. And you used to fire this jet off this like pretend aircraft carrier, and then you'd land it back on it.
I think my brother had that actually. Yeah, that was a good toy. That. Yeah, I remember that.
And how about sweets? Was there something you always used to buy when you went to the shop?
Yeah, blackjacks and fruit. Blackjacks and you know,
Fruit
the liquid.
Fruit salads.
Yeah, fruit salads. Yeah. You get loads. Back.
Yeah. That was it.
Fine sauces.
I used to buy Pacers as well. Do you remember Pacers?
Yeah.
Oh, they were nice.
That's it. I quite like Toffos as well. A man's got to chew what a man's got to chew, wasn't it? That advert. Show my age.
That advert today, would you?
No. So going back to the 80s again, Russell, what was your favourite 80s movie? I mean, obviously there's a lot of choice, but if you
without a doubt, all Back to the Future. So, you know, it was kids in my house. My boys are massive Back to the Future fans, and you know, so much so that I've gone back into the archives and tried to find some memorabilia from that. From, you know, but we watch it. You know, it must be on 4 or 5, 6 times a year in our household.
Yeah.
You know, all of them. Big fan.
How about favourite TV programme growing up?
Favourite TV programmes growing up was the Tomorrow People when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Tomorrow People was great, and then I did used to watch all the, you know, like the Little and Large and the Eric and Ernie and all those things.
Oh yeah.
And also I used to watch the Dick Emery show as well.
Yeah.
And I was a big Dave Allen fan as well, because my dad used to work with Dave Allen. My dad was a redcoat in Butlins. Dad was with Tarbuck and Dave Allen and all that lot. Through the,
we love Dave Allen.
Mum was a dancer, actually. Mum was a dancer, redcoat, and Dad was the entertainment manager at Butlins.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was having a good laugh with Pat. Me and Pat Sharp are good friends, and when Pat's down there, when Pat goes down to Bognor, pops round, comes round for dinner, early evening dinner, and then goes on to down to Butlins and does his gig down there, then he goes off. But we see each other quite a bit.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I love Dave Allen. He used to sit there with his sort of glass of whiskey, didn't he? And sort of.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Funny anecdote, Russell. Have you got any sort of embarrassing moments that always get a laugh when you tell them over the dinner table, or funny moments?
No, but I'm always telling. No, I haven't. But I had one off Bruce years ago. Not an anecdote, really. It was a Christmas cracker joke, really, and it was like when you're reading the Christmas crackers out. The reason I say that gets a laugh at home, but it doesn't, because everybody tucks. Right? You know, I go, help! I'm stuck in the Christmas cracker factory. SOS! It is. You're reading it out, and you go, no. But it makes the table. Well, table laugh. No, don't really. But I like
that one. I like that one.
So what's the best moment of your career so far?
Wow. There are a lot, really, but I do remember, you know, flying into Los Angeles with Bruce. As the plane banks into Los Angeles, the plane banks over, Bruce and it banks right over. Bruce leans into me because he's sitting to me, and he goes, "See, I told you, stick with me. You'll end up going all around the world." And as over in LA, going over the grid system in LA, and then playing Sydney and going down to Bondi Beach with Bruce and then playing in Chicago and the UK as well. Got a lot of great memories. Some amazing memories. Playing Brighton as well, when we played the Brighton Centre in 2007, and we the band all had, we call it the Del Boy floors and the Del Boy suites, which is the only falls in that floor that they had at the Grand Hotel, you know.
Oh right, yeah.
So we all rented we had all the whole floor really, and so I came out onto the balcony at the same time as Bruce must have come out the balcony in his suite, and he came out over with a glass of wine and went, "Where did it all go wrong, Russ?" It was great. It's just one of those memories,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, golden memories, Russell.
So a lot of great memories.
Yeah, brilliant. And going back, looking at obviously as a mod, Russell, a favourite item of clothing going back in the day or even recently. Can you pick one sort of favourite item of clothing?
Yeah, I had a really great pair of blue and white striped trousers that I don't know wherever they went, but I'd never get into them now. But they were. I tell you what, I think I got them in Carnaby Cavern in 1980.
Oh,
and
yes.
I had a pair of really amazing tonic blue, very rare tonic blue with mottled mohair sort of bits in them, a pair of trousers. I'm a big sort of, do like lots of trousers. I love jackets as well. I've got so many jackets, it's not true.
Okay, next one is, who's your best or favourite musician or band? I know that's a tricky one to just say one.
Obviously, I'm a big Paul Weller fan, over the latter years. You know, I was a big Squeeze did it for me as well. Tilbrook and Difford.
Yeah.
As some, you know, Glenn and Chris, nice guys as well. I see them around quite a bit and often get to chat to them. And so I've got a lot of admiration for Glenn's songwriting. I love the way he looks for the magical middle eight, or what I call the magical middle eight, which is like what the Beatles used to do. Paul's very good at doing that as well. He looks for the bit in songs where people always say, "Oh, here's this bit. I love this bit coming up."
Yeah.
Magical middle eight, and it's the bit that goes off and then back again. You know, it's
In Up the Junction, that does that, doesn't it? In Up the Junction, that's a great one.
They're very, I think they're just great songwriters. I think Paul is one of the greatest songwriters. We've got luckily we've got a great back catalogue of amazing songwriters in this country, and I think it's a shame. You know, when I don't watch the Eurovision Song Contest, but I'm just stunned that they can, that we don't get anywhere. Can't think.
We used to, didn't we? And then suddenly it's all gone wrong in the last sort of 20 odd years, I'd say.
It's political, isn't it, rather than musical, I think.
It can't be because of music. It can't be.
It's political, I think, now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit political.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know why I even mentioned the Eurovision Song Contest, because it's dreadful anyway. But songwriting, I think we've got some amazing performers, and it's just a shame that we don't really have a platform for it anymore. That it has to be live, like all the TV shows have disappeared. Like the Tube, like the old Grey Whistle Test as well.
Yeah.
Don't
have anything like that, do we? There's nothing like that at all now. Top of the Pops has got.
There's George Holland, but there's 1,000 bands trying to fight for just a very few places on there that is run by young BBC squats.
Yeah, it's a whole different landscape now for the musicians, isn't it? It's sad, really, but what can you do? So on to the next one, Russell. What's your best motto or philosophy in life? I mean, what words of wisdom might you say to your sons?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've got one, and I got it, but plagiarised it really. It's before you embark on the road to revenge, remember to dig 2 graves. Because it's pretty true, and I've always been into that crap. So, the road of revenge, you will pay a price, and big two graves, basically, because you're going to end up in there as well. So I've always thought that's a good one. Whether I live by that is
another thing. Yeah.
It's a good mantra to go by, though, definitely.
Yeah, it makes sense for me, you know. And also try and be good. I can find myself very judgmental, you know, over people, and I wish I wasn't as judgmental as I am.
Yeah.
You know, that's just been.
Yeah,
you know.
I think we're all guilty of that sometimes, aren't we? So
yeah, I'd like to be a better, you know, I'd like to be live and let live. You know, that should really come into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
My words. Oh, thanks so much, Russell. That was great fun, and we saw you on Instagram yesterday. You caught up with Bruce, didn't you, on your boat?
He's I'm actually down at the boat at the moment, and Bruce came down to the boat just for coffee, and so we came down, and we are planning to. We were actually going over a load of old demos last night, so we're looking to get into the studio in the next. As soon as we can. We're going to get together next week and do some recording. We've got a load of stuff to work on, so we've got a load of stuff that we want to do. Sort of just trying to make the most of this downtime, really.
Yeah, and what's happening with rescheduling your tours? Because
around December, January time, we think, but it's all up in the air at the moment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, we had one scheduled for April, and we were really looking forward to that. But obviously, it's been rescheduled for January now. So
sure.
Yeah, we're hoping to get to that now.
Well, I look forward to getting back and playing. It's we're just missing it now. You know, the festivals.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we're missing it, and we bet you must be itching to sort of get out there and perform again. You know,
because it's what we do. You know? So. Yeah, it's sort of, me and Bruce were talking about it the other day. It's like all of a sudden, when you take that part away from it, it's like, well, what is it that I do? You know, I don't do anything at the moment because I can't. When people say, when are you playing next? I say, well, I don't really know.
No.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a very positive one about this virus. I think the virus will die out. I'm very convinced of that. I think it will die forward. I tend not to watch the BBC or Sky News. It's ridiculous.
It's depressing.
Yeah, it is.
Won't report on all stuff. They only want to tell you the bad stuff. They don't want to hear about all the wonderful stuff that's happening. All the the dropping. They're not interested in that. So it annoys me beyond belief. So I tend not to watch.
Yeah, I agree, actually, Russell. It can get really. I don't watch the news now because it's too depressing, isn't it? You know, they don't focus on any of the positives. Can't wait to see you perform again, Russell. And it's always a brilliant night for us. And
thanks so much for talking to us and giving up your time.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much, Russell. Give our regards to Bruce as well. And
for you for Bruce to come on and do this as well.
It'd be brilliant. If we could, that'd be great.
No problem.
All right. Well, have a lovely rest of the day.
See you soon.
See
Thanks a lot.